Okay. Okay, terrific. Terrific. All right, here we are doing our live stream practice. I'm hopeful that you're all able to log in easily and cleanly, and we'll see. I'm going to say hello in the chat. Okay, and I need to get my voice off 100%. There we go. Okay, hello. Okay. Here we go. And we are in. Oh, there's 4 people watching now. Hooray! Yay! All right, so we are starting our live stream practice. Really glad that you're here. I'm thankful that we can be working on this together. This is good practice for our live stream folks so that they are ready for Sunday morning when we're doing our congregational meeting, and that will involve the live stream chat as well, so that those of you that are at home can ask questions and make comments. I want to let you know a little bit about how that's going to look, but I'm going to wait until we're sure that everybody's in. So we've got 4 folks watching now. So Rick, if you want to go ahead and move to the welcome screen. Okay, so we are welcoming you. We're thankful that you're here. We are going to just give it another minute or two, make sure everybody's on before I give too many instructions. But we're glad that there's some folks watching and are interested and involved in what we're doing here. So that's great. Hooray. Okay. If you used the email to come to this link and to watch the live stream practice, then you will see on there that there were 2 phone numbers that you could call in case you had questions. So feel free to use either of those numbers to call, and operators are standing by to take your call so that they can help you if you're having any struggles with live stream. Okay. Yeah, we'll give it another minute or 2. It's only, my computer says it's not quite 5 o'clock, so I'm going to give it another minute or 2. If you wanted to practice typing in the chat and saying hello, you're welcome to do so. I've already typed into the chat. I've said hello. I said it with a lowercase h, and then I said it with a capital H. So you're welcome to type into the chat if you'd like. So this is a great time to ask questions if you have questions, okay? It is now, according to my computer, it's 5 o'clock, so we'll hopefully get a few more people online, but it's okay if we don't. Again, this is a practice for both of us, those of us that are doing the live stream, and for you at home to make sure that you're ready for the meeting. If you want to type hello Terry into the chat so that we can see you. And I'm curious if your name will come up. Maybe you have an account and your name will show up. And if you don't have an account, maybe you need to put your name into the chat so we know who is speaking. Okay, go ahead and type. Oh, hey, there's Lisa. I can see Lisa typed in. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, that's true. That is true. That's okay. You're totally fine, Lisa. It is fine to say whatever you want in the chat. It was just my suggestion. So we'll see, we have 6 people watching now. So those of you that are tuning in, we're just doing a little practice so we can see about how long it takes for the stuff to come up in the chat, and so you get an idea of about how long it takes for me to respond to you. Lisa's using emojis in the chat. Okay, so we are if you're watching now and you can see the chat function and you can type in if you want to say hello to me. There we go. Chuck has said hello. Awesome. And then if you are not sure how to chat, if you're having trouble finding the chat, this is the time when you want to use that phone number that was in the email. There were 2 phone numbers that were given to you in the email, and our live stream team is standing by so that they can help you to be able to access the chat feature. So if you're struggling with that, this is the time to call in and ask your questions. Okay, that is Lisa. I just saw your thing counting time from hitting send. So that gives you kind of an idea. I think when we timed it out, when there was just a couple of us here, it was like 17 seconds delay for the live stream, and it was about 5 seconds delay for the chat to show up when we typed it, and then it showed up on our end. So definitely consider there'll be a 30-second to 1 minute delay in a response time to what you're saying. Also, what you need to know for the context of the meeting is that you may be typing a ton of questions in the chat, but we're going to wait until they pause for questions in the meeting in order to read your questions in. They won't be read immediately as soon as you send them off. I will acknowledge you in the chat that I've received your text or your question, and then I will save all of those questions for when they call for questions. So Lisa's telling us it was about a 25-second delay, which is interesting. So I think that might be because we have more people on. So that's good to know. That's good information. So we will we'll keep testing. We're down to only 4 people on, so I'm hoping that means that the other 2 people that were on were successful in seeing the chat and feel comfortable with the chat function. Are we having a question upstairs? Okay, terrific. Okay, so we do have 1 person online that is, or on the phone, that's getting some assistance, so we'll make sure that they are able to access the chat. Okay, oh, that's a good point. So I heard Michael is informing the person that is getting some assistance that sometimes the chat bar can be found below the video. So if you want to access the chat, depending on how your YouTube screen is set up, your chat might be down below the video. So if you scroll down, you might be able to see that. And the scroll is usually on the right-hand side of your computer or desktop. There are no other private chatters that I know of unless Rick is seeing something that I'm not. So Rick, have you seen any chats from anybody besides me, Lisa, and Chuck? Rick? So we're checking on that, Lisa. I'm not sure. I don't see any. I'm only seeing the same chats that Lisa's seeing. So Rick, are you seeing anything other than Lisa, Chuck, and me in the chat? Can you ask him if he's seeing, besides me, the only people I'm seeing in the chat are Lisa, Chuck, and Terry. Okay, good. Okay, well, we'll see how long it takes for yours to go. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there was a concern that maybe some of them would come across private, and we'll have to address that on Sunday. I don't know of anybody. No, we haven't seen any other he-backers today. I know he did have something to do, so maybe something got changed. It's all good. It's all good. We'll catch him up. So, okay, we're down to 3 people watching now. Oh. So we check and make sure, so George, if you are still on, double check and, I'm gonna check and see if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, that might be why that you're having trouble. Although I thought that I made it so that anybody could comment. I did not limit it to subscribers, but that might be something that Michael could check to make sure that it's not just subscribers that are allowed to type in the chat. Because I know not everybody, even though we have 109 subscribers, that doesn't include everyone in the church. So that's another setting to check and see if there's a problem there. So George can see the chat, but he can't type into the chat. Is that what you're saying? Interesting. Well, I know I'm definitely a subscriber, so if it's so Rick, did you guys go into the settings and look at the live chat settings?
It's not limited to subscribers only, he's subscribed.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, and we should be public. It's a public video. Elisa's mentioning that it needs to be public, but I think I made it public on Sunday when I created it, so hopefully that's not the problem. But you could check that also. How aggravating. Interesting. Okay. Okay, I am curious who, that's Michael. Okay, so that brings up a great point. So while they're working on trying to fix one person's ability to get on, and you might have to, the problem might be on your end, that you might be considered a private subscriber instead of a public subscriber. So just make sure on your end, if you're having trouble typing in, it might be that you've blocked your own self, that you've set yourself as private and not public. I'm not sure about that. That was a suggestion. And then, so one of our live stream folks typed into the chat just to see if he could type it in. And I didn't know who he was, so that's a great point. If you type in to the chat, please identify yourself, because I will need to be able to identify you in the meeting to let people know who's asking the question. So if your username, like my username, is out there for the whole world to see, as is Lisa's, as is Chuck's, but not everybody does it that way. Some people have a different way that they sign in. So just make sure that you identify yourself if you have a mysterious login. So, Michael, say a little bit more about what you're doing. You're changing. Well, yeah, and that might be an algorithm where you choose like your top responders or something, and yeah. So I definitely did not do that. It should just show the chat as it comes in. There shouldn't be any delay for anybody. It should be all people can chat at all times. Booey, booey. And this is why we practice. George Spransey is in. Hello. Hurrah. Okay, so George, you can see about how long of a delay there is in when you send something and when we talk about it on the live stream. So just wanted to make sure we're noticing that. Earlier it was about 25 seconds, so that's cool. Yay. All right. All right, we've got 5 people watching now. That's good. All right. Yay, George. I'm glad you made it in. Did you have any trouble getting into the stream or typing into the chat? Okay, it looks like did we resolve the problem? Okay. Okay, yeah, so I guess that's something good to know. So you do have to be signed in. You can't just be watching from anonymous. Although some of our live stream folks are kind of anonymous with their crazy sign-in names. But yeah, so you have yeah, so you do have to be signed in as something. My hope is that it's something that I recognize so that when you're typing in that we can know who is giving comments. That is a great point. Maybe we'll have to add that. I wonder if that's something we should add to the email that goes out on Sunday, that if you're in YouTube, that you need to be logged in. You can't just jump on and watch it as an anonymous user. You need to be logged in order to comment. Did not think about that. Huh, huh, huh. Cool. All right, well that is helpful to know. It would not have occurred to me to say that. We learned something. Yes, I love it. I love it because, when you think about doing something on Friday at 5 o'clock, sometimes you think that maybe, why couldn't it have been scheduled another time? But this worked out. It's good. We're learning something. We're all learning something. Hooray. Okay. I can only see, George is asking if we can see who is logged in, and the answer is no. I cannot see who is individually logged in. I can only see who individually comments in the chat. We can see a number of people, how many people are watching, which is currently 4, but I cannot see who those 4 people are. Okay. Yeah, so the people in the live stream, on the live stream computer might be able to see more than I can. I'm watching the live stream from my own account to comment. I'm not watching from the church's account, so I think the church might have more access to information than we do. Yay, Debbie made it in, woo! Okay. No, it's a great question, George. And that might be one reason why people don't sign in, because they don't want to be identified. I get it. But in this case, oh, we have 5 people on now. Yay, Debbie. All right, good. So we'll keep trying and see if there's any more folks that are struggling and trying to get in. So we've heard from, if we have 5 people on, so it would be George and Lisa and Debbie and Terry and Chuck. I think that would be our 5, right? So we should have everybody that's logged in has been able to comment. I feel pretty good about that. Do we still have one person that was trying to get in earlier that was not successful? Oh, the live stream team not looking at me. Do we still have somebody that was trying to get in that hasn't made it in yet? No other calls. Okay. Will any person asking a question in the sanctuary be identified by the person moderating? It's so interesting that George asked that question. So we did talk about that a little bit earlier, and I think that there are going to be folks roaming around with microphones, and so that might be a good idea for them to say the name or to remind the person to use their name. This is Terry Nicotera, and my question is blah, 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 because you will not be able to see who is asking questions. You will not have a visual of the person asking questions. You will only have a visual of the person presenting. Okay, we've got another phone call coming in. Lisa, I think we're good. Thank you for your help. Debbie. The answer is always chocolate. Or if you're Brandon Melton, the answer is always Jesus. Just so you know. Yes, Lisa, you are good. Lisa can go. Okay. Okay. So do we still have somebody that's struggling? Oh, drat. Yeah, I'm just worried if George is having trouble, if that means George Sneed, not George Spransey. If George is having trouble, then, I mean, we have a few other folks that I know will be logging in from home that haven't logged in. All right. Thank you, George Sprianzi, for joining us. I appreciate you helping us practice. Yeah. There's no homework. There's no homework. The homework is, we've done it. We've done it. We've done all the homework. Yay! George Sneed made it in! Hurrah! Yay! Oh, I'm so glad. George, you'll have to tell us what you struggled with, so in case somebody struggles with that later. All right, yay. Okay, it's so weird to see myself, what I was doing 30 seconds ago, show up on the screen that I'm looking at. Very odd.
We should have all 6 pastors in the chat right now.
Okay, great. So, George says he has no idea why. I think, or what he did. George, I'm thinking that just because we're adding this chat feature is what's different. I think anybody can watch us with a channel or without a channel. It makes it universal. But I think if you want to have the ability to communicate with us, that you have to have an account. I think that's the difference. So, see you Sunday, George Sprianzi. Thank you very much for helping us test. Glad that George is in, so that's a great thing to know, that you have to have an account. So I may be making some phone calls later to some folks that I know live stream all the time, and be assured that they have an account, so if they want to chat, they will be able to. Okay, so now I think we're back up to 5 again. Okay, that could be. Okay, so I think everybody has had a chance to type into the chat. Everybody can see the chat. They have had a little experience with it, and they also can see what the delay is for the response time in the chat. Chuck asked a question. Does YouTube limit the number of chatters at one time? I think that it can be limited, but we have not limited it. Sorry, Chuck. I forgot to answer your question. Okay, yeah, so let's get realistic. There's not going to be hundreds of people asking questions about the North Raleigh Presbyterian budget. That would be something, wouldn't it? No, I anticipate like last Sunday we had 20 people that were logged in to view the live stream as it was live, 20 to 23. It kind of fluctuated, so I can't imagine there being more than that, and I'm sure we can handle that. I have faith we can handle that. Okay, so I think we are good. I'm going to call it and say that we have had a successful test. We all learned something, which is wonderful and will help us greatly for when we do this on Sunday. So thank you, those of you that logged on. Thank you to the live stream team. I'm so glad you're here. We will see you on Sunday, either in person or on camera, and look forward to worshiping with you and hearing your comments and questions. Thanks. Have a good night.